All right, let's dive right in and take a look at Singapore's Green Report Card. We're going to explore some of the tough environmental lessons we learned in 2025 and then look ahead to the really big, game-changing plans coming up for 2026. Let's get to it. First up, we have to start with a pretty tough number. In 2024, the amount of waste recycled by households here in Singapore, well, it dropped to just 11%. Think about it this way. For every 100 things we threw out, only 11 actually got recycled. Yeah, that's a record low, and it was a serious wake-up call for everyone. So that low recycling rate, it really set the scene for 2025. It was definitely a challenging year for our planet, for sure. But it was also the year Singapore decided, okay, we need to fight back. And that set the stage for some major changes.
So let's dig into those challenges a little bit. The big question on everyone's mind was, why? Why did that recycling number drop so low? What was really going on with our blue bins?
So what was the culprit? Well, a huge part of it was paper and cardboard. You know, all those boxes from online shopping. We were creating more and more of this waste, but at the same time, it was getting more expensive for recycling companies to actually process it. I mean, simply put, if it costs them more to recycle something than to just throw it away, the recycling bin is going to lose out. But hey, it wasn't all doom and gloom in 2025. Not at all. On the world stage, Singapore actually started making some pretty big moves to fight climate change. And here's where things really started to change. Singapore made a bold new promise to the entire world. We officially told the UN that we would seriously cut down on our greenhouse gas emissions. You know, the pollution that's heating up our planet. This new target is a huge step up from what we were aiming for before. So, you might be wondering, how do we hit such an ambitious target? Well, one really clever way is through something called carbon credits. Think of it like this. Singapore is a small, super dense city, right? It's pretty hard to plant massive forests here. So instead, we can help pay for projects that protect existing forests in places like Peru or Ghana. By doing that, we're helping to remove carbon from the atmosphere somewhere else in the world. And that counts towards our own green goals. It's basically global teamwork for a healthier planet. Okay, let's jump forward to 2026 and see how all these plans start to take shape, starting with something every single one of us uses every single day, electricity. This one is pretty cool. By the end of 2026, every home in Singapore is going to get a smart electricity meter. This little device will show you exactly how much power you're using, like right now, in real time. So you'll finally be able to see if it's the aircon or that all-night gaming session that's driving up the bill. It'll make it so much easier to save energy and, of course, save some money. Okay, so that's how we can save energy at home. But what about the really big players, like factories? For that, Singapore has a tool called the carbon tax, and it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like, a pollution fine. The more carbon a big company pumps into the air, the more they have to pay. And in 2026, that fine is getting a lot bigger. I mean, just look at this jump, from $25 per ton all the way up to $45. This makes polluting really expensive, and it forces big companies to seriously invest in cleaner technology and greener ways of doing business. Now, let's circle back to that recycling problem we started with, because in 2026, a brand new scheme is launching that's designed to tackle our waste problem head on. The big challenge has always been this. How do we rescue all those plastic bottles and aluminum cans from ending up in the regular trash? I mean, they're perfectly recyclable materials, but way too many of them still just end up getting burned. Well, here is the answer. And honestly, it's a bit of a game changer. Starting in April 2026, you'll actually get paid to recycle your drinks. This new scheme gives you a 10-cent refund for every empty drink container you bring back to a collection point. And the system is super simple. When you buy a drink, you'll pay a small 10-cent deposit. Once you're done, you just bring the empty bottle or can back to a return point, and boom, you get your 10 cents back. It basically turns recycling into a rewarding little part of your day. And finally, let's tackle one of the biggest, most long-term challenges for an island nation like Singapore, defending ourselves from the very real threat of rising sea levels. This number right here, this is why we have to act, and act now. Scientists are predicting that by the year 2100, the sea level around Singapore could rise by over a meter. For a low-lying island like ours, that is a huge threat. It means that places we all love, like East Coast Park, could be at risk of serious flooding if we don't get prepared.
So, Singapore's plan to fight back is like a 1-2 punch. First, we're building up our physical defenses, like stronger seawalls. And second, we're introducing a new law in 2026, the Coastal Protection Bill, to make sure we're all working together to protect our coastline for generations to come.
So, from smart meters and higher carbon taxes to seawalls and getting paid to recycle, it's clear Singapore is gearing up for a much greener future. The real question for all of us is, what part will we play? With all these new tools and plans, what's one green habit you're going to start in 2026? Even something as simple as returning every single can for that 10-cent refund, it really does make a difference. Thanks for listening.